Okay, solving quadratic equations. Okay, solve the equation for x. All these are going to be ABC trinomials. Now I'm going to add a little new thing, and you're going to think it's completely stupid, but you'll appreciate it later. Okay, well, especially when it's time to take the test. So we have to solve this. X squared plus 11x plus 28 equals 0. So we have two answers, two solutions. Okay, so that's an A term with an implied 1. That's a B, that's a C. Now, with an ABC, I want you to set up this little thing here. You're going to put two parentheses at the beginning. You're going to put B to the second minus 4AC. That's a formula, okay? You will learn more about it as we go, but I want you to get used to it here. So your B, you're going to put 11, okay? And then 4. Then your A, you're going to put 1. And your C, you're going to put 28. So you got your minus. 11 to the second is 121. 4 times 1 times 28 is 112. And that'd be 9, that's 3. Now what was the point of that? Well, since I got a whole number, an integer for my square root, my discriminant is what that's called, that tells me, okay, the t-chart's going to work for this. Okay, I will be able to factor this. Okay, GCF out of here is 1, so it's not worth doing. Okay, first, A times C is 28, positive. So we have to find two factors that add a positive 28 to add to positive 11. Okay, so positive 28 being negative times a negative, we can always switch it to positive times positive when we have to. 1 and 28, nope. 2 and 14, nope. 3 is a decimal. Now I divide 28 by 4 and I get 7. Now that adds to negative 11. To make it positive 11, you just go plus plus. They both be positive. Now your A is just an implied 1, so it's really just x squared. So you make the xx parentheses, x plus 4, x plus 7. F1, F2. So rewrite the equation now. So x plus 4 times x plus 7 equals 0. We didn't do the GCF, it was just 1. So x plus 4 could equal 0, or x plus 7 could equal 0. So I subtract 4, I get negative 4. Subtract 7, I get negative 7. Alright, next one. X squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. So there's two answers because it's a quadratic equation. That's what this whole chapter is about. A, B, C. Okay, first apply your discriminant. Okay. So B is going to be negative 10. 4A is going to be 1. C is 21. Put the minus. Negative 10 to the second is 100. 4 times 1 times 21 is going to be 84. Square root of 16 is 4. Okay, so that tells me that's a go. GCF's 1. Okay, so you just go to your big box. 1 times 21, positive 21, so I'm thinking negative times negative. It could always be positive times positive, but the signs have to match. You're adding the factors to negative 10. That's probably a pretty good indication that we want to stay with negative negative. Add, nope. Doesn't even divide by 2, divides by 3, you get 7. Okay, add those, there's your negative 10. Now your A again is just an implied 1. Okay, so you can just make x minus 3 times x minus 7. Now rewrite that equation. There was no GCF, so this is equivalent to this. So F1, F2. So we add 3 to each side, you get 3. Add 7 to each side, you get 7. 3 and 7. Let's keep the triangle rolling here. two solutions. We have x to the second minus 7x minus 60 equals 0. So A is an implied 1, B, C. So with an ABC quadratic, you're going to want to start evaluating the discriminant. So B is going to be negative 7, A is 1, C is negative 60. So I got minus 7, negative 7 seconds, 49. Whether that's a negative or a positive, when you square any number, it goes positive. Okay, the product of 4, 1, and negative 60 is negative 240. When you're subtracting a negative, though, it goes plus plus, and we have 289. The square root of 289, you'd use your calculator, it's 17. So that tells me this is factorable. GCF would be 1 again, okay? Okay, 1 times negative 60 is negative 60, so it's a positive times a negative. And we're adding to get to negative 7. Now, you will play around on your calculator. I'm going to start telling you what the things are, because you know how to divide by 1, by 2, by 3. It's not hard, okay? Eventually, if you divide that by 5, you get 12. You'll have to do the trial and error if you don't know it, okay? Because that's your negative 7. I'm just doing that to save time. You need to be doing it. I don't expect you to know it right away, okay? Try it. It's just to cut the video down. Okay, A is an implied 1 again. So 2 parentheses, x plus 5, x minus 12. So we rewrite that expression as x plus 5 times x minus 12. Didn't do anything with the GCF because it was just 1. So F1, F2. Set that, each factor can be set equal to 0 because either that is equal to 0 or that is. So what are the x values? So negative 5 and positive 12. Okay, next one, 2 answers. This one's going to be a little different. We're actually going to do the GCF. Because the GCF, it's not just 1, okay? Some of you are like, well, how's that? Well, we use our discriminant, b to the second. Okay, b is going to be negative 3. A is negative 1, C is 54. There is a way to do this on the calculator. You can go second square root. You would need 2 parentheses at the beginning though. The first is to tell your calculator I want all this in the square root, and the second one is just for the B substitution. So negative 3 raised to the second, subtract 4. It has to be plugged in just like this. Negative 1, 54. Okay, got a nice round number. I don't care what the number is as long as it's a whole number. Now GCF, true, it's 1, but it's negative 1, because if the A is negative, the GCF has to be negative, so we're doing it, okay? So I factor out negative 1, then I divide these all by negative 1, and that would become 1x squared plus 3x, that's my B. My A is now positive 1, and then minus 54. Okay, so if the GCF, if A is a negative, it's got to be a negative GCF. That doesn't happen very often, but we got to keep watching for it. So this is my new ABC. Now I will put the negative 1 here. Okay, I would put, if you do actually do the GCF, I'd line it up right there. 1 times negative 54 is negative 50. Oh, God, I drew that way too big, didn't I? We'll make the parentheses there. So positive times negative, we're adding to try to get to positive 3. 2 factors of negative 54, that would make positive 3. Eventually you divide that by 6 and you get 9. 6 plus negative 9 is negative 3. To make it positive 3, I just flip the signs. Okay, now A, no it's not -1, because here's the A I ended with. It's an implied positive 1. So again, I can just go with 2 parentheses with x minus 6, x plus 9. So you put that after your -1. Now -1's not very important because it doesn't have an x, but at least it's been factored out. So F1, F2. So I add 6, I get 6. I minus 9, I get -9. Okay. Okay, 5x squared minus 17x plus 6 equals 0. So 2 answers. Now write out that discriminant, b to the second. There's 2 parentheses at the get-go, minus 4ac. So b, so again, ABC's right there. Okay, b is -17, a is 5, c is 6. So drop your minus, okay? So you punch in, or no, I want to punch this in on the calculator, okay? That's something you need to do for time purposes. Second square root, you make 2 parentheses, -17, close that one, take it to the second power, subtract 4 in parentheses, 5 in parentheses, and 6 in parentheses. We get a nice whole number, okay? So this can be factored. Now look at your table. 5, 17, and 6 are only in the first row. And A is positive, so it's positive 1, so we're not going to be doing it, okay? Okay, a little game changer here. 5 times 6 is 30. It'd be positive, so we're adding to make -17. So positive means it'd be a negative times a negative, or maybe a positive times a positive. We'll see when we get the right number. 30 divided by 1 is 30. Add those, no. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Bam, -17 even has the right sign, so I stick with that. Now your A is no longer an implied 1, it's a 5, okay? So that means you write the word hard, because that means, or write the word grouping, okay? Because you're going to factor by grouping. So parentheses plus parentheses, and then space, parentheses, longer space though. Then put a little parentheses there. Parentheses plus parentheses, line parentheses plus line parentheses, then just a little parentheses, big parentheses. Okay, we need to rewrite this then. So I would go up above the problem, or off to the side maybe, just off the side down here. So 5x squared, your A stays the same. Your B is now rewritten, okay? This is now replaced with minus 2x minus 15x, because that would combine to make -17x, and then plus 6. Okay, so you group those two, and then -15x plus 6. Okay, first let's decide, is that first term a negative? No, it's not. Is this a negative? Yes, it is, so negative, negative. Okay, let's check for x's. Well, these both have x, so I need to divide by x. These do not both have x's, so don't put an x underneath. 5 and 2, check your table. It'd just be in the first row. 15 and 6 are both in the third row. So what do we do with those? Well, since I'm dividing by 1x, that now rolls outside. And then -3. Now these need to end up the same. Now, 5 divided by 1 is 5. X squared divided by x is x. You got to know that. Minus 2, and then the x's cancel. Now that's going to be 5x minus 2. And the parentheses match. So 5x minus 2 comes out. In the result, I have 1x and negative 3. So that's what I write over here. 5x minus 2 times 1x minus 3. GCF we did not do. F1, F2. So 5x minus 2 could equal 0. 1x minus 3 could equal 0. So you plus 2. Divide by 5, so it's going to be 2/5. Then plus 3. 1x equals 3. Divide by 1, so that's going to be 3. 2/5 and 3 are the solutions. Okay, next problem. 2x to the second plus 11x plus 12 equals 0. So two answers. Then I label A, B, C. Remember, x squared is A, x is B, the constant is C. B to the second minus 4AC. So B, put 11, not 11x, just 11. 4. A is 2, C is 12. Okay, evaluate that on your calculator. So second square root, you need a double parentheses to begin. You take 11, close it. Second minus 4, close it. 2, close it. 12, close it. Okay, nice whole number. Don't do anything with it. The whole number tells me it can be factored. Out of these three terms, GCF's 1. Okay. Would be positive 1 because the A is positive. Okay, if that was a negative 2, I'd make my 1 a negative and do it, but it's positive. Okay, 2 times 12 is 24 positive. So negative, negative, and you're adding to try to make positive 11. 1 and 24. Add those, no, not going to work. Divide by 2, you get 12. Add those, it's negative 14, not going to work. 24 divided by 3 would be 8. Add those, and cha-ching. Okay. But we have to make it positive 11. So plus, plus. If you got the wrong sign and you need the positive, you just change the signs. Now, A is 2, so if it's not a 1, we have to factor it by grouping. So parentheses plus parentheses, line parentheses plus line parentheses, then line parentheses, okay? Now, you go up here and rewrite it. So, somewhere here, 2x squared, and then instead of writing 11x, this is the one we replace with these two separate. So plus 3x plus 8x plus 12. So I group the 2x squared with the 3x, and then the 8x with the 12. Now underline these, decide if you need negatives, not here and not here. Those are both positives. Now what do we need for, well, we're going to put x in this one, but not in this one. 2 and 3 are just in the first row. 8 and 12 are together in the second row, but further down they're in the fourth row. If you divide by 2, it's not going to work, okay? So I factor out 1x and I factor out 4. So you can cancel those. You're going to get 2x squared divided by x is x. That's a fact you have to know. Plus 3. And this is going to be the same thing, 2x plus 3. So I bring out 2x plus 3, and then when I bring it outside, I can cross them off here. And then I have 1x plus 4. Okay, so write it out. 2x plus 3 times 1x plus 4 equals 0. So F1, F2. So subtract your 3, get negative 3 over 2. So just keep it negative 3 over 2 if it's a decimal. Get your 1, and that'd be negative 4. Okay, next problem. 4x to the second minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, you got A, you got B, you got C. So whenever you have all three of those, you need to first apply the discriminant when solving an equation. Now you don't have to do this if you're just factoring, but to solve it, yeah. So negative 4, A is 4, C is negative 3. So evaluate that. Second square root, double it, negative 4 to the second. You got to punch it in right. Subtract 4. Every time I come to a new factor, I make a new parentheses. Okay, nice whole number. Don't even write it. You're not going to do anything with it. Okay, GCF equals. So now I know I can factor this. What's a GCF? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, anyway, 4, 3, and 3 would be in the 1. There wouldn't be an x, and your A is positive. Okay, so there's no point in doing anything about that. Okay, 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So it's positive times a negative, and we're adding to try to get to the B, which is negative 4. 1 and 12, nope. Divide by 2, you get 6. Add those, it's negative 4. Now again, your A is a 4, so you got to do the grouping. Okay, so parentheses plus parentheses, line parentheses plus line parentheses, then line with parentheses. Okay. Okay. To know what you're grouping, you got to rewrite that. Okay, so you're going to rewrite the A and C stay the same. It's this B that's rewritten as plus 2x minus 6x minus 3 equals 0. So you put the 4x squared with your plus 2x, then the negative 6x with the minus 3. Okay, where do you need negatives? Well, not here because that's positive, but here you do. Negative, negative. Where you need x's? Well, you need an x there, but not here because you have that constant. 4 and 2, you divide by 2. 6 and 3, those are in the third row. So I factor out a 2x and then a negative 3. Then I end up with 2 with x plus 1, and then 2 with x plus 1. So 2x plus 1 is factored out, and our result is 2x minus 3. Okay, so the factorization is 2x plus 1, 2x minus 3 equals 0. So 2x plus 1 could equal 0, as could 2x minus 3. So 2x equals negative 1 divided by 2 would be negative 1/2 plus 3, that's 3. That's 3 over 2. So those are your answers, okay? 7x squared minus 8x minus 12 equals 0. So 2 answers. So b squared minus 4ac. So b is negative 8, a is 7. That 4 is always there, it's part of the thing. Okay. Then second square root, double it, negative 8 to the second. This is just to verify that this can be factored. Okay. 20. Okay, what's GCF? It'll just be 1. Can't do X, and A is positive, so just 1. I'm not going to worry about the GCF. 7 times negative 12 is negative 84. Okay, so it's a positive times a negative, and we're adding to try to get to negative 8. This one takes forever, so I'm just going to give you what it is. Divide by 6, you get 14. Boom, negative 8. Okay, your A is 7. Okay, so that means you have to use the grouping method. So that means we need to rewrite it down here. So the A and the C stay the same. It's a B that's rewritten as plus 6x minus 14x minus 12. Still equal to 0 though. So I put the 7x squared with the 6x, and I put the negative 14x with the minus 12. You got to make sure you get that 14 in as a negative, okay? Okay, where do you need negatives at? Not here, because that's positive. Here you would, okay? Then where do you need x's? Well, you need it here, but you can't put it here. 7 and 6, those are in the first row, and those are together in the second row. So I factor out 1x here, and then negative 2 here, and these should end up identical. So that's 7x plus 6. And that's also going to be 7x plus 6. So 7x plus 6 goes here, and then 1x minus 2. If it's plus negative, just write it as minus. Okay, so you have 7x plus 6 times 1x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so 7x plus 6 could equal 0, or 1x minus 2 could equal 0. So I subtract 6, I get negative 6. So negative 6 sevenths. Add 2, you get 2. Still at 2 when you divide by 1. Okay, last 2 finally. Oh, I made a mistake on the document. Okay, it's supposed to be plus 2x minus 30. So there are 2 answers. So you got A, you got B, you got C. Apply your discriminant. So B is 2, A is 4, C negative 30. Punch that in. Okay, nice whole number, so we're good to go. Now the GCF will not be skipped here because these are all in the second row. Okay, you don't put an X and your A is positive, so it's just 2, but we need to get that factored out, the 2. And then I'm going to end up with a new ABC. So when I go divide these all by 2, it's going to be 2x to the second plus 1x. You can put the 1 in parentheses or not, doesn't matter. Minus 15. So that's the ABC I'm working with. This 2's out of the thing. So it's negative 30. So it'd be a positive times a negative. And we're adding to try to get to positive 1. For time purposes, I'm going to tell you what it is. If you divide it by 5, you get 6. And those add to negative 1. To make it positive 1, we just flip the signs. Now, A is not 4, it's 2, okay? Remember, that's out, okay? So, by the way, this 2 you've put out here, put that right there. I'm sorry, I forgot, okay? This 2, I just write here. Before I write that'll go in front of the parentheses. Okay, A is at 2, so again, you got to do the grouping. Plus in between them. Those are plus signs. And then little big. Okay, you got to rewrite it, but you're not rewriting this. You're rewriting this. Okay, with that, 2x squared. The 1x is rewritten as minus 5x plus 6x and then minus 15. Okay, so you got 2x squared minus 5x and then you got 6x minus 15. Remember, you're rewriting this after the GCF's been factored out, not the original. Okay, see, I've got that 2 there. Okay, where do we need negatives? Not there and not there. You need X in the first one. 2 and 5 would be in the first row. 6 and 15 is in the third row. So I'm going to factor out a 1x here and a 3 here. So it's going to be 2x minus 5 without x. And that's going to be the same thing going on here. So we have 2x minus 5 in each parentheses. Take it out. And then the result, you end up with 1x plus 3 from the outside. So next to that 2 that we've already put there, we put 2x minus 5, 1x plus 3 equals 0. So that's not an F label. The F labels come from here. I put it there so it's a proper factoring. So plus 5, that equals 5, divided by 2, and we get 5 over 2. Minus 3, that'd be negative 3. Don't need to divide by 1, it'd just be negative 3. Okay. Alright, last problem. 5x to the second plus 25x equals 70. So you have 2 answers. Okay. So you have an A, you got a B, you got a C, but it's not equal to 0. So you need to minus your 70. And then there's no C over there, so it goes as minus 70 on the other side. Okay. So the new equation is 5x squared plus 25x minus 70 equals 0. And now you have your ABC lined up. So b squared minus 4ac. So b is 25, a is 5, c is negative 70. So plug that in, second square root, 25 to the second minus 4, 5, negative 70. Got a whole number. Now the GCF will not be skipped here because those coefficients are all in the 5th row. You don't put an x with it because the 70 doesn't have x and your a is positive, but I do need to factor out 5. So I divide by 5, all of them, and that becomes 1x to the second plus 5x minus 14. It's still equal to 0. So if your GCF is not anything but a positive 1, you need to do it. And this is your new ABC. 5's out. I'll put 5 down here, and then I'll put my parentheses after it. Okay, so this is my new ABC. 1 times negative 14 is negative 14. So it's a positive times a negative, and we're adding to get to positive 5. 1 and 14, nope. Divide by 2, you get 7. That adds to negative 5, because if you add 2 and negative 7, it's negative 5. But to make positive, you go plus 7 minus 2. Okay, the A is 1, okay? That's good news, so I don't use grouping. I just go to my XX parentheses, because a 1 can be discarded. So x minus 2, x plus 7, and that's what you put after it. Now, not that 5's all that important, because it doesn't have x, but so plus 2, you get 2, minus 7, you get negative 7. So after you do your table, you got to identify your A. If it's just a 1, you go right to your 2 parentheses, XX. But if it's anything other than a 1, okay, set up your grouping and rewrite the ABC. You always rewrite the B into 2 parts. The 2 parts from here with X's.